OMB Director Russ Vought is calling out Fed Chair Jay Powell, writing in an ex post that Powell has grossly mismanaged the Fed. Russ Vought joins us now, and we'll talk about the more maybe wide-ranging issues in terms of monetary policy. Then we can get into. I said maybe if I could print money, Russ. You heard what I said. I might make Versailles. I mean, I'd have servants. I'd have. I don't think I could overspend on my facilities, but we probably don't. We probably don't want that. But let's talk about that after we talk about monetary policy. You think that there are political reasons that Jay Powell and the Fed have not lowered interest rates yet?
Well, look, the president's been very clear. He's concerned with the tight policy that the chairman has had. He thinks he's generally been too late. That's our view. And we saw Chairman Powell, he was too late to recognize inflation, and now he's too late to lower rates. And the Fed has just mismanaged the institution. And we see that the extent to which they've been operating at losses for a number of years now is for the first time in their history. And then you just see a very practical example when you go to the nation's mall. You see the construction of this palace, in the words of one former official, upwards of $2.5 billion, massive cost overrun. And we want to make sure we have facts as to the largesse and the extent to which it's overrun, and the plans keep changing. The testimony that he has on the Hill keeps changing. And I think it just points to the fundamental mismanagement of the Fed under the chairman.
Right. Maybe. That just sounds kind of vindictive. And I'm not saying that everybody's perfect in Washington, but if you're mad at the Fed for not lowering rates, then you start looking at what they're trying to do with their headquarters. It just, I don't know whether that's a substantive. But here's what I worry about, Russ. Let's say you got a president who loves lower rates. I won't mention any names. Might have been like a real estate guy. It might have been someone who just really likes lower rates. If he had a complete dove that would follow everything he wanted in terms of interest rate policy, you criticize Powell for not raising rates, not recognizing inflation when he needed to recognize it. You're really asking for someone who's on permanently easy, who has that switch permanently on for lower rates, and you would have done even worse in handling inflation with policy like that a couple of years ago.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think the president has been a great prognosticator of where we should be in terms of rates. But this is a very simple debate today about what is going on in the national mall, what's going on with the Fed.
If President Trump was in office a couple of years ago when it was obvious that rates needed, you really think he would have said the Fed has to raise rates? I can't imagine the president ever saying. It's hard for any president to tell the Fed to raise rates. Remember what happened to the first Bush and Alan Greenspan? He blames Alan Greenspan for not being reelected because he was too tight with monetary policy.
The problem with Chairman Powell is he has been late at every turn. And I remember back during the Biden administration when we were seeing the warning signs. We were seeing the warning signs very early, potentially on this program, from people like Larry Summers. We knew the spending was out of control. We didn't have inflation under the Trump administration. We developed inflation as a country under the Biden administration because of the excess spending. And for a chairman not to be able to look at the warning signs, the dark storm clouds fiscally that were occurring, and to be ready, and they keep calling it transitory, and then once we have a new change of administration, we no longer have inflation, it's time to lower rates, you have a problem there. But again, this is about the largesse and the fact that he has systemically mismanaged the Fed, right. And that is evident by what we're seeing with regard to this monstrosity, this palace of Versailles on the National Mall, in the words of a former Fed official.